One of the motivating things about putting this show together was the idea of plotting the evolution of some of my images, kind of getting a chance to look back at where a lot of my motifs have sort of grown from, what they started out life looking like, and then how they kind of grew into some of the sort of more elaborate compositions I now make. It's really nice to be able to see a kind of generation of your work in one place and be able to plot stuff like that. It's not something you can do in the studio, so to be able to make this show from stuff around Dallas, but also more recent things and sort of very old things, to try and kind of get a little bit of a theme running between certain motifs and icons in the pictures was great. You know, it's a good opportunity to do that. The figure that you see populating the landscapes or moving around the spaces and scenes in the works is a stand-in for an artistic personality, really. It's less of a kind of alter ego, but more of a generic kind of painter figure, like or creative thinker in some way. I wanted to, in a way, embody creative thought in a certain kind of human being and a certain individual. He's sort of part Van Gogh, but part sort of philosopher, tramp, vagrant, sort of from ancient historical painting, a kind of Saint Sebastian or sort of Saint Jerome figure. But he's really a kind of embodiment of my relationship to painting. He's really the stand-in for how I think painting operates with a level of ambivalence around its value. You know, he sort of straddles the kind of positive and negative sides of making painting, the kind of historical aspect of it, but also the futility of it, or the difficulty of it. He's really somebody who is not really in control of what's going on in the painting around him or in the painting he makes, which is really how it feels to make paintings in the first place. The characters embody a deep sort of anxiety around creative practice itself. Like a lot of the difficulties of the creative project are kind of acted out by this guy in various scenarios. It's really looking at what a picture of the creative process would look like. You know, the doubts and the sort of conversations that go on with yourself when you're making something. You know, in a way, all the images are about realizing that in a being of some sort. You know, it's not like saying, you know, it's like making an abstract painting with people. It's like you could say that an abstract gesture is codified by your kind of creative sort of brain patterns, which are sort of unknown and instinctive and intuitive. But with me, I'm sort of saying, well, actually, what if you put that back into a person? You kind of let them become a kind of mobile, thinking being within the painting. So it's, in some senses, they're a bit like a ghost in a machine. You know, these are abstract paintings that haven't managed to evict the person yet, who in modernist painting history would have been expunged a while ago. You know, he's still in there. He's kind of like a sort of sitting tenant within the paintings, like a zombie that won't be kind of eradicated. Yeah, and that's it. The characters are sort of trying to fumble their way through a painting process themselves. They make paintings in the scenes themselves, which are kind of at a lower level than the one that they're in. You know, they make kind of infantile kind of daubs or strange sort of little marks on paper and pin them up proudly onto trees and things like that. So that, in a way, they're a parody of my own practice, my own processes. They're making a mockery of what I'm actually doing, you know, which I think is an essential component of being an artist. It's again, it's an embodied self-criticism. You know, it's a self-doubt that's becoming kind of manifest in the actions of an invented character. You know, the way that I may feel troubled by what I make, or sort of, you know, somehow vulnerable about it, or worried about its value, or worried about whether it's, you know, just any good as a painting. You know, that's really brought to life by what these guys are doing themselves, which is that, you know, they paint an owl or something and they stick it on a tree, or they paint just a duck or a few blobs of paint. It's like taking what my behavior to an extreme and sort of holding it up as a sort of ridiculous thing, which is how it feels. You know, it can feel ridiculous when it's not going very well. You know, you don't know where it's all leading. So at the same time, while it's not leading anywhere, within the painting, there's somebody also doing a painting which is going nowhere, but just in a much, much worse way than mine. So that's really what they're about. They're about a kind of mirroring of what I'm doing. And all of these scenes are sort of, they're little mirrors of my psychological kind of relationship to it. They're kind of turning painting into a place or into a person. You know, that's really what the pictures are about at heart, really. They're about saying that if you have an imaginative world where you create pictures, then it also, you know, your imaginative relationship to painting looks like a place. You know, and that's really what these paintings are trying to do. They're trying to make that place a tangible and a sort of realized thing.